Hello, everyone. Have you ever wondered, behind every delicious meal we enjoy, how many drops of sweat from the farmers have soaked deep into every inch of the soil? Each type of crop is not just food. It is also a story of patience, hard work, and love for the motherland. In today's journey, we will walk together through the fields, the greenhouses, and the fertile lands to witness how tomatoes, cucumbers, flowers, mushrooms, sweet peppers, and sweet potatoes are planted, nurtured, and harvested. This journey is not only about agriculture, but also about the art of living in harmony with nature. Tomatoes, the red gems of the fields. In the world of agriculture, there is a small fruit that carries within it an entire journey of dedication: the tomato. These red gems not only brighten up our daily meals, but are also the result of months of hard work, care, and the meticulous efforts of farmers. The living environment of tomatoes. Greenhouses help control light, temperature, and humidity. Farmers install drip irrigation systems that deliver nutrients directly to the roots. Tomatoes are grown on growing mediums, such as coconut fiber, rice husks, or peat moss to limit soil-borne diseases. In this environment, tomatoes produce higher yields with more uniform fruits and are less affected by harsh weather conditions. Outdoor tomatoes absorb natural sunlight, grow strong, and develop a richer flavor. However, they are more vulnerable to storms, pests, and require more frequent care. Farmers often set up bamboo trellises or wooden stakes to support the plants, preventing the fruits from touching the ground and getting damaged. The stages of tomato growth. Tomato seeds are first germinated in small trays, and only after 20 to 30 days are they transplanted into the fields. As the plants grow taller, farmers tie them with strings for support, removing old or excess leaves so that the plant can focus its nutrients. After about 35 to 40 days, tiny yellow flowers appear, signaling new life. Farmers often gently shake the trellis or use bees for pollination to help the flowers set fruit more effectively. From those blossoms, small green fruits begin to form and gradually grow bigger each day. After about 70 to 90 days, the fruits change color from green to vibrant red. This is the most important moment for harvest. How to care for tomatoes. Tomatoes need regular watering, but not too much, because excess water can cause fungal diseases. A combination of organic and microbial fertilizers is used to enhance the natural flavor of the fruits. Lower, older leaves near the base are removed to keep the plant airy and reduce the risk of pests. Biological methods and natural predators are prioritized, while chemical pesticides are minimized to ensure food safety. The harvesting stage. Tomatoes must be hand-picked one by one with gentle movements. Farmers usually select fruits that are just ripe, not overly ripe, so that they can be stored longer. Any fruits that are bruised, scratched, or below standard are separated and processed into tomato sauce or juice, avoiding waste. After harvesting, tomatoes are placed in plastic crates lined with a soft layer to prevent damage. At processing facilities, they are washed with clean water or a safe solution, then sorted by size, color, and quality. They are packed in plastic containers, paper trays, or mesh bags with traceability labels. Refrigerated trucks then transport the tomatoes to distribution centers to keep them fresh. Finally, the bright red uniform tomatoes are beautifully displayed on shelves, waiting for consumers to choose them. Cucumber, the refreshing taste of summer. Cucumber is a plant that grows very quickly and thrives in warm climates. Just about 4 to 5 days after sowing the seeds, they begin to sprout into tender green seedlings. Over the next 10 to 15 days, the plant gradually forms its true leaves and starts climbing up the trellis with the help of tiny tendrils. To help the plant grow upright, farmers usually set up a trellis about 5 to 6.5 feet tall, or about 1.5 to 2 meters, and use soft strings to tie the main stem so it will not topple over. At this stage, the main care includes regular watering. Cucumbers need high moisture, but they cannot tolerate waterlogging, so the soil must always be loose and well drained. Removing old or diseased leaves. This keeps the trellis airy, reduces pests, and directs nutrients to the fruits. Fertilizing periodically. Mostly organic and microbial fertilizers, combined with potassium and nitrogen, help the cucumbers develop evenly and stay crisp. Only about 35 to 40 days after sowing, young green cucumbers start appearing on the trellis. By the 45th day, the plant enters its peak harvesting stage, the cucumber harvesting stage. The right time to harvest is considered the most important factor in determining how tasty the cucumbers will be. They should be picked while still young, about 6 to 8 inches long, or about 15 to 20 centimeters, with shiny green skin. They should not be left to overmature, otherwise they become fibrous. Farmers usually harvest cucumbers early in the morning. At that time, the temperature is still cool, the cucumbers stay crisp, and they are less likely to wilt after cutting. If left until midday under the hot sun, the fruits lose water quickly and the quality drops. A single cucumber plant can produce continuously for about 20 to 25 days, yielding on average 5.5 to 6.5 pounds of fruit per plant, or about 2.5 to 3 kilograms, depending on the variety and care conditions. How cucumbers are harvested. Cucumbers are picked by hand, with gentle handling so the stems are not bruised and the skin is not scratched. Harvesters often use scissors to cut right at the stem or twist the fruit lightly to remove it. After harvesting, the cucumbers are placed in baskets or padded crates to avoid damage from impact. Right in the field, farmers do a quick sorting. Type 1. Straight, uniform cucumbers of equal size, usually chosen for supermarkets. Type 2. Slightly curved or larger or smaller than the standard, often sold in local markets. Type 3. Misshapen, scratched, or bent cucumbers, mainly used for processing or sold at lower prices. After sorting, the high-quality cucumbers are washed with cool water, drained, and carefully packed in plastic trays or shrink-wrapped bags. Some large farms even apply cold storage technology right in the field to keep them fresh longer. Before reaching supermarkets, the cucumbers must go through quality checks, testing for pesticide residue, cleanliness, crispness, and color. Only batches that meet the standards are labeled, tagged with QR codes for traceability, and transported by refrigerated trucks to supermarkets and clean food stores. Thanks to this closed process, from planting and harvesting to distribution, cucumbers that reach consumers always remain fresh, cool, and safe. A crunchy, sweet cucumber on the dining table is the result of meticulous care and the tireless efforts of farmers. Flowers. Fragile beauty with great value. In modern farms, flowers are most commonly grown inside greenhouses. This is a closed environment designed with transparent roofing that helps control light, temperature, humidity, and minimizes the impact of pests from outside. Before planting, the soil is carefully prepared, loosened, enriched with organic fertilizer, and treated for pathogens using heat or biological agents. Some greenhouses even use clean growing media such as coconut fiber, burned rice husks, or organic humus in trays, allowing the roots to grow evenly and making it easier to manage nutrients. Thanks to the automatic drip irrigation system, each plant receives just the right amount of water, avoiding waste and keeping the soil at the ideal moisture level. In addition, LED lighting systems are installed to supplement sunlight, ensuring that flowers can photosynthesize properly even on cloudy days. Caring for flowers requires patience and meticulous attention. Farmers must constantly monitor the temperature inside the greenhouse. Each type of flower needs a different range. For example, roses need about 64 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 to 28 degrees Celsius, while orchids require a cooler and more humid environment. Prune leaves and side branches. This helps the plant focus nutrients on the flower buds. Fertilize regularly, often with microbial fertilizers, balanced NPK, or hydroponic nutrient solutions, so that flowers bloom larger with brighter colors. Control pests and diseases, applying biological methods such as releasing natural enemies like ladybugs and parasitic wasps, using antagonistic fungi, and limiting chemical pesticides so flowers are safe when they reach consumers. The growth stages of flowers. Leaf and stem growth stage, 0 to 30 days. After planting, the plant focuses on developing its root system and leaves. This stage requires plenty of nitrogen and light to build a strong foundation. Budding stage, 30 to 50 days. The plant begins forming buds. At this time, more potassium and phosphorus are needed, so the flowers develop vibrant colors, large buds, and bloom evenly. Blooming stage, after 50 days, depending on the flower. The flowers open and reveal their full beauty. This is also the most critical period that determines the quality of the harvest. Growers must carefully adjust humidity and light so the blooms last longer without wilting. Flowers are usually harvested when the bud has just begun to open, or when the bloom is around 70 to 80% open, so that by the time they reach consumers, they remain fresh and beautiful for several more days. The best time for harvesting is early morning, when the air is cool and humidity is high before the flowers lose water. Selected blooms must have consistent color, no bruises, and no signs of pests or diseases. Growers use sharp scissors to cut the stems with quick and precise movements, preventing damage to the flower stalk. Immediately after cutting, the flowers are placed into clean water or a flower-preserving solution to maintain freshness. Flower sorting and packaging. At the field, flowers are classified into 3 categories. Type 1, large blooms, vibrant colors, with long stems, often exported to supermarkets and used for festivals. Type 2, smaller blooms or uneven in color, typically sold at traditional markets. Type 3, crooked, broken, or overbloomed flowers, used for processing into essential oils, flower tea, or simple decorations. After sorting, flowers are bundled into groups of 10 to 20 stems, wrapped with craft paper, protective mesh, or biodegradable plastic. Large farms often use a cold chain for transportation, keeping flowers fresh for 5 to 7 days, and sometimes even longer for premium varieties. At supermarkets and stores, flowers are displayed in cool water vases, labeled with information and QR codes for traceability so customers feel secure. Flowers are not only commercial products but also carry spiritual and cultural value, serving weddings, funerals, major events, or simply adding beauty to living spaces. Each petal, therefore, becomes the crystallization of modern agricultural science and the skillful hands of farmers, bringing joy, elegance, and cultural meaning to people. Mushrooms, a gift from the darkness. Unlike most crops that need sunlight, mushrooms thrive in environments that are dark, cool, and humid. To begin, farmers must prepare the growing medium. This is essentially the home where mushrooms develop. The materials often used include straw, sawdust, sugarcane bagasse, or corn cobs that are finely chopped, then thoroughly sterilized with heat or hot steam to eliminate harmful fungi and bacteria. After sterilization, mushroom spawn is evenly inoculated into the substrate. Each bag of growing medium is placed in a cultivation room where conditions are strictly controlled. The temperature is kept steady between 68 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 20 to 28 degrees Celsius, with air humidity between 75 to 85%, and absolutely no direct sunlight. Within the first 10 to 15 days, white mycelium begins spreading, covering the entire growing medium. This stage is like the root system of a plant. After about 25 to 30 days, tiny mushroom pins start to appear, gradually developing into clusters of round, pure white mushrooms. Caring for mushrooms does not require complex tools, but it does demand precision and patience. Growers must carefully monitor moisture. If the air is too dry, mushrooms stop growing. If too damp, they are prone to disease. For this reason, mushroom houses are often lightly misted to create a naturally cool and humid environment. Air quality. Mushrooms need oxygen to grow, so the room must be well ventilated yet clean, avoiding strong drafts. Hygiene. The entire space must remain spotless, free from dust and harmful microorganisms. Farmers often wear protective clothing and disinfect their hands and tools before entering the cultivation room. It is this strict attention to detail that keeps mushrooms pure and highly nutritious. The mushroom harvesting process. When mushrooms reach their ideal size, usually about 25 to 30 days after inoculation, farmers begin harvesting. Harvesting mushrooms requires absolute care. Workers gently twist the base of each mushroom by hand instead of cutting the stem to avoid leaving behind remnants that could cause mold in the substrate. Mushrooms are then placed in soft bamboo baskets or clean plastic trays, never compressed, to prevent bruising. Immediately after harvest, mushrooms are taken to the cleaning and packaging area, then stored in cold rooms at 35 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. This keeps them fresh for several days without losing flavor. Thanks to this process, every mushroom that reaches consumers still retains its crisp texture, delicate aroma, and natural sweetness. The health benefits of mushrooms. Mushrooms are not just ordinary food. They are often called a nutrient-rich, clean vegetable. Rich in plant-based protein, mushrooms provide a healthy, low-fat source of protein, perfect for vegetarians and those managing their weight. Packed with vitamins and minerals, especially B vitamins, natural vitamin D, potassium, and selenium, all of which boost immunity and act as antioxidants. Heart-friendly, mushrooms help lower bad cholesterol, support stable blood pressure, and reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Immune system support. Compounds called beta-glucans in mushrooms stimulate the body's defenses against bacteria, viruses, and even certain cancer cells. Body detoxification. Eating mushrooms regularly helps the body feel lighter, supports liver function, and promotes better digestion. With their natural flavor combined with powerful health benefits, mushrooms truly are a precious gift from nature, nurtured not by sunlight, but by darkness and the diligent hands of farmers. Sweet peppers, the vibrant colors of the farm. Sweet peppers, also known as bell peppers, are considered a premium vegetable, often grown in modern greenhouses where the growing environment can be closely controlled. Sweet pepper seeds are first germinated in small trays, placed in an area with soft light and temperatures between 77 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 25 to 28 degrees Celsius. After about 25 to 30 days, when the seedlings reach a height of about 5 to 6 inches, or about 12 to 15 centimeters, they are transplanted into beds or pots inside the greenhouse. They require loose, organic-rich soil with a neutral pH of about 6.5 to 7.0 and good drainage. Farmers often mix in decomposed organic fertilizer or clean growing media to increase fertility. The plants are arranged in straight rows, each spaced about 16 to 20 inches apart, or about 40 to 50 centimeters, and tied with strings to keep the stems upright and ensure even fruit distribution. To produce beautiful peppers, farmers must take meticulous care. Light and temperature. Sweet peppers need plenty of light, but cannot tolerate excessive heat. The greenhouse is designed with roof coverings and ventilation systems to maintain a steady temperature between 64 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 18 to 28 degrees Celsius. Watering and nutrients. Sweet peppers need moderate moisture. If too dry, the flowers fall off. If too wet, diseases appear. Automatic drip irrigation provides consistent water, along with nutrient solutions rich in potassium, which helps the peppers grow thick, glossy, and sweet. Pruning and pollination. Farmers prune away old branches and leaves so the plant directs nutrients to the flowers and fruits. In greenhouses, bees or gentle fans are sometimes used to support pollination. Pest control. Sweet peppers are vulnerable to fungi and insects, so growers prioritize biological methods and limit chemical pesticides to ensure food safety. After about 70 to 90 days, sweet peppers begin to form. At first they are green, then gradually turn yellow, orange, and finally bright red, painting the greenhouse with a burst of colors. When the fruits reach the standard size, about 3 to 4 inches long, or about 8 to 10 centimeters, with firm, glossy skin and even coloring, they are ready for harvest. The harvesting stage. Harvesting usually takes place early in the morning when the weather is cool, helping the peppers stay fresh longer. Each pepper is cut with specialized scissors rather than twisted by hand, which might damage the stems. The harvested fruits are placed gently into baskets, never stacked too high to prevent bruising. Sweet peppers are sorted into categories. Type 1. Uniform, high-quality peppers that meet export standards. Type 2. Slightly uneven in color, sold in domestic markets. Type 3. Smaller or misshapen fruits used for processing. Behind every vibrant sweet pepper are months of hard work. Farmers must monitor the greenhouse every day, adjusting light, water, temperature, and nutrients. Just one mistake, such as overwatering or letting the temperature rise too high, could ruin an entire crop. But thanks to their patience and precision, greenhouses are filled with colorful peppers that are not only beautiful, but also bring farmers stable income. For many households, sweet peppers have become the crop that transformed their lives, taking their produce from village fields all the way to international supermarkets. After harvest, the peppers are washed, packaged in plastic trays or mesh bags, and stored in cold rooms at 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 7 to 10 degrees Celsius, to preserve their crispness and color. Sweet peppers are a popular ingredient in stir-fries, grilled dishes, and salads, especially in fine dining restaurants as well as home kitchens. They are now exported to many countries such as Japan, South Korea, and across Europe, meeting GAP and Global GAP standards. More than just an agricultural product, sweet peppers are a source of pride for farmers, representing their homeland in the global market. Every sweet pepper on the dining table, therefore, is not only a flavorful ingredient, but also the result of science, sweat, and the determination of farmers who strive to reach further. Sweet potatoes. The natural sweetness from the earth. Unlike many other crops, sweet potatoes are not grown from seeds, but from vine cuttings. Farmers choose sandy or light loamy soil that is loose and well-drained because sweet potatoes are very sensitive to waterlogging and easily rot if exposed to standing water. Before planting, they plow the soil, let it rest under the sun, and add decomposed organic fertilizer to enrich its nutrients. Vine cuttings about 10 to 12 inches long, or about 25 to 30 centimeters, with multiple nodes, are planted into the ridges. Farmers usually place the cuttings at an angle, so the nodes can root more easily, allowing the tubers to develop deep underground. Depending on the region, sweet potatoes are often planted at the beginning of the rainy season or during the cooler winter crop to take advantage of natural water and mild climate. To ensure healthy growth, farmers must provide consistent care. Moisture management. Sweet potatoes need sufficient moisture but cannot tolerate flooding. Farmers usually channel water into the furrows to keep the soil moist while avoiding standing water. Weeding and hilling. After about 20 to 30 days, weeds appear. Farmers weed and pile soil around the base of the vines, helping them spread strongly while giving the tubers space to grow. Fertilization. Organic fertilizers and potassium are periodically added to make the tubers sweeter, firmer, and starch-rich. Pest control. Sweet potatoes are prone to stem borers and leaf-eating caterpillars. Farmers often rely on manual control and limit chemical pesticides to keep the tubers safe for consumers. Over the course of 90 to 120 days, the once tiny vines gradually spread to cover the entire field with lush greenery. Beneath the soil, the tubers quietly grow larger day by day. Harvesting sweet potatoes. When the leaves and vines begin to turn yellow and wilt, it signals that the sweet potatoes are ready for harvest. Farmers use hoes or small plows to gently loosen the ridges, then collect the swollen tubers by hand, taking care not to scratch or damage the skin. Purple, yellow, and honey-sweet potatoes emerge from the soil like a long-awaited gift of nature. Once dug up, the tubers are sorted. The large, well-shaped ones are sold as fresh produce, while the smaller or misshapen ones are used for processing or saved as seed stock for the next crop. For farmers, sweet potatoes are not only food, but also a stable source of income. In many regions, sweet potatoes have even become specialty brands. Japanese sweet potatoes, honey sweet potatoes, purple sweet potatoes, all making their way to domestic supermarkets and even international export markets. The greatest joy for farmers is seeing their harvest appear on family dining tables, becoming both a nostalgic food tied to childhood and a driver of rural economic development. Every sweet potato, therefore, carries not only the natural sweetness from the earth, but also the crystallization of sweat, patience, and the love of labor from the farmers who grow them.